Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's another day, it's another video, and I'm really excited to make this one because I think it's going to be a little bit different than what you've expected. Obviously, with things kind of going the way with Call of Duty, we all kind of have these ideas of what we think is causing a little bit of this decline. And then I think there's some things that I have on my list today with my notes that I think might surprise some people and be like, whoa. And some of these, we're going to have some arguments in the chat, and we're going to talk about and we're going to discuss them. But that's the point of these videos. I want to see the community engaged. I want to see them involved. I want to see you guys chatting. I will try to reply to a lot of these. And so I think I got about 5, and I think the last one's going to probably be the most shocking one, to be honest with you. But we need to address one thing, because I am getting a few comments of like, hey, T-Dawg, what happened to the passion for Call of Duty and the positivity? First of all, I think if there's anybody that's more passionate about Call of Duty than me, I would like you to find them, because I absolutely love this franchise. And I consider these videos something called feedback. And I actually looked at the dictionary definition of feedback, and it's information about reactions to a product, a person's performance of a task, which is used as a basis for improvement. So this product, the developers, I feel like I'm giving constructive feedback for improvement. Obviously, like I said, the game is, the numbers aren't fully there. If people were playing it, the numbers are crazy, my words would kind of just be annoying. You know, it's like, okay, the player base is crazy. This guy's just complaining to complain. But obviously there's something that's gone wrong, and the connection has been lost to the player base. So let's get into this list. I have my notes right here on my phone. Number one, I was walking around my neighborhood the other day, like I like to do every day. I was listening to the sermon from Sunday, just kind of repeating it, listening to it again. And then this idea popped into my head, and I'm like, wait a second. That could work as a video. So maybe that says I need to be paying attention more to the sermon than creating content. But hey, it came to me, so I said, why not? So let's get into the first one here, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of controversy with this one. This is the yearly release. I feel like for me, Call of Duty, and I literally wrote it on my notes, I feel like Call of Duty at this point has become the Madden of FPS. Like, every single year we get a Call of Duty, and every single year it doesn't feel like there's enough time to make a change that is worthwhile. I mean, you look at Madden, you look at FIFA, you look at NHL, 2K, all these games are just ripped to shreds now, because really they're just a roster update with more sweat or better graphics added to the player. And it almost feels like with Black Ops 7, that is the case in this game, where it just kind of feels like it's the same game with a couple improvements. And I believe the improvements are actually really good. But when you're a casual, you're not really going to notice these things, and you're going to be like, that's not worth the $70. So I feel like at this point in time, the devs need to have an extra year. And I pitched this in a previous video, I think like 2 or 3 days ago. So go back and watch that one. But I actually pitched, go back to the golden age and remaster a game, and then rotate it with a brand new title. So like, for example, World at War comes out next year. Now this isn't gonna happen because this is just my obviously random opinion here, but World at War Remastered comes out next year, and then the following year is the Infinity War title, and then the following year after that would be MW2 Remastered. So again, there's like 16 years of content, because COD 4 through Ghost is considered the golden age. So you have what, 6 titles there, 7 titles there, and then 7 new ones. You got 14 years of content. So I think that would be very important. And at this point too, with this yearly release system, it just feels like everybody else is just kind of releasing a multiplayer game, and they're doing seasonal updates a lot more frequent than Call of Duty. And that's just because they don't got to make a new game every year. Fortnite has chapters. Arc Raiders has their content planned out for like 2 years. I mean, even Helldivers has cool content, and Battlefield. And so, you know, Battlefield, I guess that might not be the best example, because I think they're trying to get to a yearly release. They may want to reconsider that. But So yeah, the first one, I just think at this point in time, the yearly release has worn out its welcome. It's time to move on from that. And that almost leads me to my second point with the next thing that I feel like is kind of hurting it, and it ties into the yearly. A lot of these tie into the yearly release, now that I'm thinking about it. My second one is the studios. Now, to me, it feels like there's too many people involved in video in Call of Duty nowadays. Back in the day, it was Infinity Ward, it was Treyarch, and they would rotate, and maybe there was a studio helping back in the day. I actually don't know, but I don't think it was no way in the world what it is now. I don't think that's the proper wording, but nowadays you legitimately have like 10 studios. Boot up Call of Duty now, it's like Activision, Raven, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Beanox. I mean, I can keep going here. It's just crazy. And I think part of this is why there's fatigue in the game is also because they have all these studios involved. Like, for example, we've gotten Zombies 3 years in a row, when back in the day, we used to get it every other year. So like when you took a year off, it was great because then you were excited for the next iteration of Zombies. Well, Modern Warfare 3 got Zombies because Treyarch was working on MW3 Zombies for some reason, even though it's a Modern Warfare title. And then obviously they had back-to-back Call of Duties, BO6, BO7. So then they had to do new Zombies for that as well. Now, I think they're doing a pretty good job of it, but it's like, even that, it's like, okay, you've gotten Zombies 3 years in a row, where when there was a little break in between, it really made it seem like, wow, this is a new thing and a new item, and wow, it's exciting, rather than, okay, we're just getting the same thing over and over again. So another thing with these studios being split up, and I'm not split up, but like all working together on the same project, to me, it can be an ideation thing where the issues of somebody thinking differently can affect the final product, you know? So if Raven Software has a vision for the campaign that Treyarch kind of disagrees with, but Raven's in charge of the campaign, it is what it is. They got to meet their deadline, and I think that's kind of what happened. I can't imagine Treyarch, the people working at Treyarch, watching that campaign and going, this is the vision we had for a Black Ops 2 sequel. If they did, shame on them. But in my opinion, it was Raven taking control, and then they have a different vision. And I think that's sometimes why you see the game kind of got a different vibe in different categories, because they are getting worked on by different studios, and that communication may have challenges if a studio's in Milwaukee and then one's in California, and you just are not in their hands-on. So I think having too many cooks in the kitchen is the term I was looking for, can also be a big problem. And I think you got to go back to like, hey, Treyarch handles Black Ops, and which we don't need any more of, by the way, and then Infinity Ward handles Modern Warfare. Sledgehammer does their thing with a new title. I don't think that was working. So why aren't we going back to that? You know what I mean? Next up, this one might get a little bit complicated, a little bit more controversial, shall I say? This is FOV. Okay, so FOV, if you didn't know, was field of view. And this is a setting where you can change now in both console and PC, where the higher you go up, the more visual you can see. And I have a few notes on this one. I think this will be the one that people disagree with me the most, but I'm gonna stand true to this. And I think for me, when FOV became a thing on console, it almost made everything look faster, if that makes sense. So a lot of people, when they turn their FOV up, they put it all the way up to 120. And that was what made MW19 look so, like, not crazy, but like, you would see the difference between somebody playing on console back then versus PC, because PC had it and console didn't. Console got added in Cold War. So when I say this, I feel like nowadays, when you watch somebody play BO7 and they crank up their FOV to 120, The speed of BO7 plus the 120 FOV that already looks crazy quick, a casual may watch a little bit of the gameplay and just go, yeah, I'm good. Like, they may go see Battlefield, they may go see Arc Raiders, it's a little slower paced, and they go, that's the game that I'm thinking. Rather than BO7 where it looks all cracked out. And I have proof for this. So I'm gonna put up a visual here. This is BO2 with 120 frame or 120 FOV back in when you could only do it on PC. Look how fast this looks. It looks like a totally different game. And it looks kind of cracked out. And now we'll go to BO3 on console. Here's a visual of this. And this game has jetpacks and boost movement and sliding. And it doesn't look that cracked out because you're playing on 80 FOV. So I think, honestly, I'm not saying get rid of FOV because I think it's nice to have that. But maybe there's like a limit on how high you can go on consoles. And again, this is probably not going to get changed around, but I think it has more of an impact than I think people think. Because if you played BO7 maybe on 90 FOV, everybody was playing on 90 FOV, it just wouldn't look as movement. And I think more people would actually enjoy it. I really do. And so that was my weird one. I guess the next one, we have two more, and the last one I think actually is another really important. The last one, like I said, is an important one, but the next one here is the COD HQ. I mean, my gosh, this idea has got to be one of the worst ideas I've ever seen in my life, and I don't really see it mentioned in the ruining of the experience of Call of Duty. Obviously, I didn't mention it in the beginning of the video, but I didn't want to include like the top ones. Like, obviously, it's going to be like AI and skill-based matchmaking and the jetpack style movement. These are kind of like those weird ones where you're like, I never really thought about it like that. So obviously, I think the COD HQ has just been a horrible integration. They tried to do this like everything's all in one, and I don't think that works for Call of Duty. I think part of I guess the OG Call of Duty, like the golden age of Call of Duty, was part of the fun of a brand new game, for me at least, and maybe this makes me weird, was seeing the new menu system and hearing the new music and checking out the new settings and doing all that. Whereas, like, you know, think about MW2's main menu, the 3 boxes, compared to Black Ops 1. And you're like, whoa, this is a totally different game. And now if you want to compare the menus of Black Ops 6 with Black Ops 7, it's like, hey, this one has an orange tint and this one has a blue tint. All the settings look the same. All the menus look the same. It's just like a main screen and there's 3 areas, 3 things you can select: zombies, multiplayer, campaign. And it's like, it was the same thing with BO6. It was just horizontal and now it's vertical. So it's like, there's no real aura. I know I used that in the previous video as well with these menu systems to give it that fresh new paint, a new look, whatever you call it, coat of paint. And that's all to do with the HQ, because this started back again in like the, what was it? Was it MW? It might have been MW2. Of course, MW2 brought this, but at least MW19, Cold War, Vanguard, like you can tell they're their own unique thing when it comes to menus and stuff like that. So another weird one, but really when your experience feels like a DLC, this kind of goes back to yearly releases. When it feels like a DLC, when the menus feel the same, I can see why somebody says, yeah, I mean, dude, it's a DLC. I don't want to play this. I'm not paying $70 for it. So you see these people making these points and you're like, yeah, you're actually right, to be honest with you. So my last one is, I think this is wild, and we'll briefly touch on it, but I think this one might be the most important of them all. It's the size of the game. Okay, so I went to download season 1 or preload season 1. I had to delete 3 games. I'm not even trolling you. I had to delete The Witcher, which I played on the second channel. Go watch that. I had to delete Arc Raiders, which I played on the second channel. Go watch that. And I had to delete Modern Warfare 3. because the file size was so big that I had no storage on my hard drive. My hard drive on my PC legitimately might be Black Ops 7. That's it. And to me, I'm trying to look at this more from a casual perspective. If I'm Bob getting off work and I have, let's just say I have Cyberpunk, I have Arc Raiders, and I have Battlefield on my PC, or Red Sec on my PC, or my Xbox, or whatever, PC. And I go, you know what, let me try Black Ops 7. And I go to buy it or download it or whatever, or try it out. And it says, hey, we need 300 gigs of space. You got to delete one of these games. Well, if they're having fun on those games, they're not going to delete it. And they shouldn't have to go buy a storage device to store one game on a hard drive, HDD or whatever they call it. So honestly, you're losing players because they're just gonna go, hey, I'll play Battlefield, that's like 60 gigs, Arc Raiders is probably 40. And then, you know, I have one bigger file where I wanna just chill and fart around, and that's Cyberpunk or Red Dead. And they got their 3 games. And so, again, Call of Duty has become so bloated in this HQ that you're just downloading all sorts of stuff. Now, if it was something where we could just download the multiplayer for BO7, and I know you can do it, but trust me, it is way more complicated than it needs to be. And you just want to play multiplayer or just play zombies, and it's a little like 40 gig download. Hey, that's convenient, that's easy. And it's like Black Ops 7 is its own file. So those are 5 things that I think are kind of secretly kind of just making there be like this crack in the foundation that then it just creates issues everywhere else. There's always the bigger issues, but I think these are smaller things that create bigger issues, if that makes sense. So anyway, guys, once again, I appreciate all the love on these. Reminder to anybody that is like kind of I don't want to say disappointed, but the feedback that you guys have been giving me on these has been incredible. Like, I get 1 negative comment to 30 positive comments, and I'm not taking that lightly. So I said it I replied to a bunch of you guys yesterday. Like, I think I need to use my platform to bring this stuff up at least and compare it to other games and compare it to what we used to have and kind of be like, hey guys, here's a solution. Here's what I think we should do to kind of get COD back in the good graces, get COD where people enjoy it again. And I just want to thank you guys, because this has been genuinely, this has been the most enjoyable, probably week or 2 of content in a long time for me. I have been loving what we've been putting out. I've been loving reading the comments, and I'm just very grateful for this. I'm just grateful to be in this position. So thank you for the support. Again, thank you. If you can, leave a like, subscribe. Maybe we get to 1 million. Just chatting about COD. Wouldn't that be special? Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a positive video. It will be. It's going to be a fun video. So turn your noties on. All right, we'll see you then.